The world is never kind to anyone making progress. Being alive in this era means getting hit by constant criticism, both online and in routine. It doesn't count how skilled or hardworking you are. One can always receive criticism, and it isn't always good. It can hit you at your workplace, at home, or while scrolling through your social media comments section. There can be different reasons behind someone criticizing you. These might include jealousy or insecurity in a relationship, or it might be sheer resentment of the concerned person with you. Moreover, there are different types of criticism that you receive, and all criticisms hurt. Now, before I get on with how you can face and respond to criticism, first I need to explain to you the two types of criticism. Constructive criticism is beneficial criticism. It is supposed to be healthy as it points out your shortcomings and shows you where and how to bring in improvements. Knowing your weaknesses helps you grow. Constructive criticism is viewed as useful feedback as it can help you improve yourself rather than discourage you. Also, it is easier to accept constructive criticism and it hurts a little less. On the other hand, destructive criticism is bad criticism. It is unhealthy for an individual. It usually comes from a person who lacks emotional intelligence. Such criticism aims to make you feel unworthy. It is meant to tear you down deliberately. Hello and welcome back to our channel. In this video, I will be telling you about how you can handle negative feedback and 6 ways to respond to criticism gracefully. However, before we begin, we would like to ask you to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos. Done? Well then let's dive in. Number 1. Listen carefully. The first response most of us have when we are criticized is to become defensive. It is human nature to be defensive when you are opposed. Being defensive means you will act ignorant to the feedback, or shout, or stammer. No matter how much your chest feels tight and your face flushes, try to hear out the person giving you the feedback till the end. Yes, it is your right to defend your character and integrity, but you should defend yourself in a way that demonstrates your maturity as well as the quality of your character. It is a gut reaction to defend and explain your action when you are criticized. However, learn to listen before you speak. Take a deep breath and hear out the critic carefully. Responding without listening could worsen the situation. Not hearing the other person out can frustrate them more, and it makes the situation even more difficult to resolve. It definitely takes courage to hear criticism. Your objective should be to learn and understand. The better you will understand the point of the other person, the better you will be able to respond. Your strength lies in how well you listen for understanding. Even the most hurtful criticism can teach us something beneficial. So, try to keep your mouth shut and listen to what the other person really has to say. Moreover, put yourself in the other person's shoes. Try to think from their perspective. Imagine how you would feel if you were them. Or that person might be in a bad mood on that day and just be releasing frustration out on you. Seeing the whole situation from a different perspective can help you understand the situation better. You might realize that what seems acceptable to you might not be appropriate for others, so you always end up learning if you listen carefully. Number 2. Avoid being defensive. Try to avoid being defensive throughout the whole conversation. Forget the intention of the person criticizing you. Your aim is to learn and grow. So resist any instinct to be defensive and avoid making excuses for what you did, no matter whether you are right or wrong. Being defensive might help you feel better for a while, but in the long term, it is useless. It might make you end up in a vicious cycle of mistakes. So instead of arguing, be prepared to accept the criticism. Accept that you are not perfect and there is always room for improvement. Embrace the negative feedback and use it to improve your craft. Avoid the immediate reaction. Take a moment and step back. Listen carefully and then respond without being defensive. If there is something you can change, take the criticism as a lesson and learn ways to improve and do things differently. Being defensive is a waste of time and energy. You can hardly change someone's point of view by arguing. Thus, it is better to learn something and use the criticism received to your advantage. Number 3. Focus on the positives. It is human nature to make mistakes. Making a mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve on yourself. Therefore, no matter what kind of criticism you receive, analyze it to find something positive in it. There is always something to learn from it. Whether it is at your workplace, at home, at school, or social gathering, try to take the criticism on board to help you improve and progress. I know, when someone's attacking your character and pointing your mistakes out, it's hard to accept it calmly. However, it does not mean you should ignore what is being said. That conversation can help you learn something about yourself. You could get to know how you impact other people or things you are lacking. So accept the criticism you receive and let it be a reason to better yourself. Moreover, think of it as an opportunity to learn something about the person who is criticizing you. You could get to learn whether the critic is your well-wisher or someone trying to bring you down. Also, keep in mind that the criticism you receive may not make sense at the time, but you would appreciate yourself later for keeping calm. Generally, there is some truth in the criticism you receive, even when it appears to be given out of spite and bitterness. The criticism gives a slight reflection of your character, which another person sees at the time. Keep calm and try to see things from the other person's point of view. Wise people always learn something positive from the criticism they receive. By learning a little about how others perceive you, you may be able to use your criticism to improve your interpersonal skills and make progress in your life. Everybody learns by making mistakes, and learning how to deal with criticism positively is one way that can help you improve your relationships with others. People often tend to feel personally attacked when they receive criticism. They usually see it as an attack on their character. It is important to realize that the person criticizing you is merely passing their emotion, and it is not their real self. Be positive, act positive, and learn something positive. Number 4. Apologize but don't explain. No matter whether you are wrong or right, apologize. Apologizing should be your first response to criticism. An apology is an indication that you are responsible enough to accept the feedback and are not trying to avoid it. It changes the situation from a combat mode to an easy conversation. Even if what the person is saying about you is false, don't waste your energy proving them wrong. Apologize and try to ease the situation instead of arguing who's right or wrong. Also, note that one sincere sorry is enough. Don't overdo it by explaining yourself. Be wise to handle the situation, but don't compromise on your self-respect. Number 5. Bring in a third person's perspective. Perspectives develop with experience, but you can always use the perspectives of different people to sort out a conflict. If you are comfortable and have the opportunity, share the criticism you received with a third person, a friend, a colleague, or a relative maybe. A third person might be able to see the situation more objectively than you. They may highlight a point that makes you think about the situation in a different way. Bringing in the third person's perspective can make the situation feel less personal and will allow you to respond more appropriately. Also, a third person's opinion can help you reflect effectively on the situation that led to the criticism. Getting someone else's perspective on the situation gives you clarity. It refines your perspective. So, consider the critic's perspective and the third person's perspective, and then develop your own. You may be able to identify the real problem and keep the situation calm. Number 6. Relax and reevaluate. Above anything else, the most important thing to do in response to criticism is to do something better for yourself. It might sound irrational, but being criticized can wound you. It exhausts you mentally. Take a minute to relax and make yourself feel better. Sometimes treating yourself well can help you respond to criticism better. It helps you ponder over it and bring improvements in yourself. You can't pave the road to betterment without proper evaluation. It can be a bit hurtful, but it leads to progress and development. Growth happens when you move ahead with a calm mind and a plan. Conduct self-evaluation and construct a map for betterment. Pay attention to the contents of the criticism carefully and assess yourself. Examine your acts and shortcomings. It will help you determine where you were lacking to earn that criticism in the first place. Moreover, you will be able to determine the merits and faults from your own perception and will try to improve yourself. Also, it is important to practice detachment when necessary. Give yourself time to cool off before responding to the criticism. Take your time and ponder over the objectives to bring up a reasonable response. It is better than saying something vague in response and regret later. Even if you apologize later, the other person will always doubt that you really meant what you originally said. So, give an appropriate and evaluated response in the first place to avoid being stuck in a difficult situation. Detachment doesn't mean avoiding a situation. Just know that you and the other person are two separate individuals with different opinions, feelings, and needs. The more you understand this, the easier it will be for you to remain calm and respond positively. Criticism might be hard to accept, but you can learn to respond to it wisely. You may not feel as bad about it if you see it as a learning opportunity rather than a battle or something. Sometimes, somebody's criticism of you has nothing to do with your actions and behavior. For instance, if a stranger is criticizing you on social media, it is nothing more than their vagueness and frustration. It is better not to respond. Other times, be responsible and listen to someone who is addressing his or her problem. Listen carefully, focus on the facts, evaluate the situation, and respond positively. Also, check how you respond to criticism time and again. Reflecting on how you respond to criticism will help you improve it next time. As we all know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Take criticism as a ladder to your success. Learn from it and improve yourself to progress both personally and professionally. So that's all for today's video. Here's a question before we wrap up. What's the most bizarre way that you've handled criticism? If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Do check out the video appearing on the screen, and I will see you in the next video.